Just wait for some people to show up. So, it is now, I guess what you would call Motse Yom Ha'atzmaut. Oops, let me just move the beers over here. Here in Israel, and now I can talk to you guys about serious things, as it were. Slightly more intense topics. One topic in particular. You guys have probably seen the tweet from dear Mayor DeBlasio of New York, where he basically, in the tweet, it sounds like what he did was he singled out the Jews in New York for violating, I guess, coronavirus restrictions. What a lot of people kind of, I guess, inferred from what de Blasio wrote, and what I inferred, if you give him the benefit of the doubt, he was referring to not all Jews. He was referring to just the Hasidic community in New York, who go to minyanim, go to secret minions, congregate and this, that, and the other, right? Even if you say, well, de Blasio, you give him the benefit of the doubt and you say, he's not an anti-Semite, all these years that he was, pandering, going to the Israel parade and, dealing with the Jewish community here and there and everywhere. You could say, the guy's not an anti-Semite. Come on, what do you mean? Right? But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Even if he's not, let's say he's not. Let's just say he's not, right? Let's just say he broke ranks with his party, the Democratic Party in America, which has basically, at its very core, been anti-Semitic for a very long time. I'm not even gonna sit here and so to speak, count the ways how they are. I'm not gonna prove it to you. I don't need to prove it to you. I really don't. And if you ask me to prove it to you, I'm gonna tell you to take a hike because I'm just not. Go do the research. I'm not gonna sit here. I could sit here literally for hours and prove it to you. Okay, but I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna give you one example. Fine. You want me to give you one example? I'll give you one example. The 2012 Democratic National Convention, when you had to twist people's arms and yank their chain so that they mentioned God in the and when they mentioned Jerusalem, and in the Pledge of Allegiance. Again, I could literally sit here all day and tell you and prove to you guys how the Democratic Party in America is completely disconnected, in terms of Israel, in terms of the Jewish people and stuff like that. And you could say, oh, well, look how, the Jews vote for Democrats. That's what I want to talk to you guys about today. After this happened, Representative New York, I think he's a state or a city representative, Dov Hikind, I think, who used to be a Democrat. I don't know if he's still officially a Democrat. I think he left the Democratic Party for all I know. And he came out and he said to Mayor de Blasio, and I know why he said this. He wants to be, I guess, diplomatic and whatever, and he deals with the mayor here and there. And he said, Mr. Mayor, you have to apologize. And I'm just thinking to myself, Dov Hikind, you see him at all these dinners, at all of these Jewish events. I saw his son and his wife at this thing called the Dinner for Jerusalem High, for Ateret Kohanim, which is basically the organization that, rightfully so, buys homes from Arabs in the Muslim quarter in the old city of Jerusalem. You know, you can't come out and say that Dov Hikind is a I don't know, a lefty, or not a lover of Israel, or not a proud Jew. He very much is, and I commend him for all of his work. But I just have to say, you know, and so he comes out and he says, "Mr. Mayor, you have to apologize for what you said." And I'm thinking to myself, let's say the mayor is not an anti-Semite. Let's say the mayor misspoke, right? We give him the benefit of the doubt, and we say that he misspoke. He meant the Hasidic community, not the entire Jewish community. On the one hand, I'm thinking to myself, so if you think it was just that, what is an apology going to do? He's going to come out and apologize, and then he's going to say, "I only meant the Hasidic community." So the people who listen to him on his Twitter, listen to DeBlasio, are going to say, "Well, okay, so let's not attack all Jews. Let's just attack people in the Hasidic community, or let's just continue attacking the people in the Hasidic community like we've been doing for the past, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. Chopping them up in shuls in Muncie, hitting them over the head in with a brick in Crown Heights, shooting them in Jersey City. Let's just continue doing that. At worst, if de Blasio is an anti-Semite, so now you're asking an anti-Semite to apologize for something that he said, which he essentially held in his subconscious. And okay, what is an apology going to do? It's like asking Hitler to publicly apologize. Okay, the guy still, you can't change a person's sentiment. If he feels a certain way about people, then okay, an apology means nothing. Oh, that's my friend writing. I know most Christians vote Democratic, but they are far from what the Bible teaches, so it makes no sense to me. Listen, I don't know. I know that most evangelical Christians vote Republican. I don't know about the other Christians, the rest of the Christians or Catholics or whoever. It might be just kind of a historical, maybe a traditional thing, but most Jews unfortunately vote Democrat because I don't know. They're so open-minded, their brains fell out. Who knows, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, what I have to tell you is, honestly, I see my friends posting about the De Blasio thing, the tweets, and responses to his tweets. Okay, very funny, very cute, very very clever, very interesting. Makes for nice things to post on social media for people to share, and viral content or whatever you want to call it. Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking directly to the Jews of America. Again, even if a person wrote something and he misspoke, just understand that a person like the mayor of New York, in the position of the mayor of New York, his one tweet can send off or can spark an entire firestorm against a group of people. And ladies and gentlemen, I mean, it's not going to be just Hasidic Jews. The Hasidic Jews, it always starts with the Hasidic Jews and the Chabad people and the people in Muncie and the people in Williamsburg. And you know what? Eventually, it goes to this, the shul. There's a Reform shul just outside of Crown Heights on Eastern Parkway as you're walking to Grand Army Plaza. There's a Reform shul there. Eventually, it gets to that shul, and then you walk a little further to Prospect Heights, and it gets to the Prospect Heights shul. And you walk a little further, you get to the next shul. Then you walk towards, Flatbush, and then Flatbush, and then you walk to Brighton Beach, and then you get to the Brighton Beach shuls. And then you go, and then these people who attack Hasidim and then they continue with the Reform, and then they make they over to Manhattan, and they go to the Upper West Side and the Lower East Side and the Upper East Side and Tribeca and the Village, and then they make their way over to the river. They go to Passaic, right, and they keep going to Muncie. They go back to Muncie, and then they keep going to Teaneck and Englewood and Bergenfield, and then they go to Fairlawn, God forbid, where my parents are, and then they go to, they just keep going and going, and then they'll go to Philly, and then they'll go to every single community, Reform, Conservative, Frum, Balshuva, Chabad, Masorti, Traditional, reconstructionist, deconstructionist, underconstructionist, malconstructionist, destructionist, confused, unaffiliated, whatever, ladies and gentlemen. They will go and they will not stop. This is my message to you Jews. Wake up, ladies and gentlemen. The Democratic Party, as I said in the beginning of this video, has not liked you for a very long time. At its core, it hasn't liked you. It hasn't liked Israel. It hasn't liked you for a very long time. Case in point, J Street. You guys are going to vote for Biden, right? Let's just say Biden didn't have dementia. And I'm not trying to be funny here. The guy has a problem, right? He has a medical problem. Let's say he didn't. Let's say he was the perfect candidate, right? Did you know that he appeared in a few J Street conferences where basically every single year they talk about basically dismantling Israel piece by piece, like methodically, year over year over year over year. First we'll start with this, then we'll start with that, and eventually we'll just eat the whole country and just give it away, and then we'll go back to, I don't know what we'll go back to. You know, the Ashkenazim will go back to Europe, and the Sephardim will go back to, I don't know, or maybe they'll stay and they'll fight the Arabs. You know, they will be the people who will actually fight the Arabs, and the Yemenite, you know, along with the Yemenite Jews, who sure as hell ain't going back to Yemen, I can tell you that much. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know, it hasn't liked you for years. It's been pandering to you for years. And you're like, oh, but it's our party and we've been voting for them since the 60s and the 50s and the Republicans hated us and they're the ones that didn't let us into the country clubs and la 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 la. And as you're so open-minded and your brain fell out. Ladies and gentlemen, we just had Pesach. You guys are in Mitzrayim. You are in a mental, psychological, ideological Mitzrayim, Egypt. And as the Midrash says, unfortunately, only 20% of us left. Fourth, fifth stayed back and died in the darkness, in the choshech. That's the story. That's the story goes, ladies and gentlemen. And we know the statistics. How many Jews vote Democrat? What, like 70, 75? You guys are enabling this guy. You didn't know who he was? He's a Sandinista, man. A Sandalista, as Russian likes to call them. You know, the guy changed his last name because his father. Okay, I don't deride anybody. Okay, it wasn't his fault that his father killed himself. His father killed himself when DeBlasio was 18. I'm sorry. His parents got divorced when he was 7. His father killed himself when he was 18 because he was dying of cancer. And I read some articles today that DeBlasio said like he's very conflicted. On the one hand, he respected his father. On the other hand, his father was like an alcoholic, and he basically he disowned his father essentially. After his father's death, he changed his name from Wilhelm, which I guess is a German last name, to his mother's last name, an Italian last name, and the rest is, you know, history, as it were. But ladies and gentlemen, you should know that, like, the ideology that the Democratic Party espouses for the past, or the one that they've come to espouse today, it's an ideology that was born in universities in the 1970s, and eventually that ideology came to despise Israel. And then they go and they claim, well, we don't hate Jews, we just hate the what do they call the colonial enterprise that is Israel, right? But eventually that kind of stuff just starts morphing into your regular garden variety. First, it starts off as thinly veiled anti-Semitism, and I can tell you guys that I've dealt with it personally in the club scene in New York City since the year, I would say, 2001, 2002. I dealt with it, like, up in my face, right? Really up in my face. It was thinly veiled and bordering on overt. And then eventually, we get what we get today, ladies and gentlemen. We get what we get today. And I advise you, and I'm just advising you, don't ask for apologies. Don't hope and pray. Just prepare. What do I mean by prepare? If you're not going to leave America and you're going to get stuck in America and you're not going to come to Israel, I would advise you to learn how to defend yourself. And if you're not going to learn how to defend yourself, either think about voting for another party, voting accordingly, you know, maybe galvanizing large groups of people, gathering large groups of people, and maybe, yeah, change your political stances or change your political allegiances, as it were. And if you can't bring yourself to do that, and if your brain is still in Mitzrayim, I suggest you buy a very nice, expensive Samsonite suitcase or a set of Samsonite suitcases. You pack your stuff, and you get the hell out of Dodge. What do I mean by Dodge? Get the heck out of America and come home. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, the people who are being attacked right now, the Orthodox Jews, I'm talking about the Hasidic, not just Hasidic, there's the Yeshivish people, Black Hat, modern Orthodox, all of the people who are being attacked, they are all praying for one thing every single day, 3 times a day. As much as they want to they'll tell you, oh, but we're not Zionists, we're not this, we're not that, we don't the state of Israel, blah blah blah, Medina, Medinat Israel, and the Treifa Medina, and we're not about we're not into all the Zionim. It doesn't matter. They're praying to get to this land, to the land, ladies and gentlemen. It's something we've been pining for 2,000 years, maybe more. And these are the people that are being attacked, and these are the people that I hope are realizing now, at least they have to start mobilizing, right? I'm not even counting on Reform Jews or, I don't know, conservative Jews or whoever to maybe wake up. I doubt it. I doubt that's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. They just did the surveys, I told you. Or is it the Pew Research? They said, I think, what is it, 40% of Jews have never been to Israel. They don't really care about Israel, something like that. The Jews in America. So I'm not counting on that. I'm really not. But listen. But for those of you watching, just enough with this, begging for apologies and being upset and tweeting and going on social media and going to the Anti-Defamation League and fighting anti-Semitism. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't fight anti-Semitism. It's like fighting, I don't know, bowel movements. I hate to get graphic. I mean, you can't fight it. It's something that's embedded in nature. It's Esav Sonei Yaakov. It's a halacha. It's law. It's natural law. The only thing you can do, again, it's either defend yourself or wake up and get the heck out of Dodge. That's really, really it. Even if this guy, DeBlasio, even if he didn't mean what he's meaning, he was talking about one particular community, and he just meant, okay, these people have to get their act together and they stop behaving in a certain way, whatever it is, as he disregards everybody else who's doing the same thing, non-Jews and Muslim community and this and that and the other. Okay, even if he meant that, right? Even if he meant that, doesn't matter. The people that are reading his tweets are like, yeah, get those Jews. Those filthy Jews. Not just the Hasidic Jews, everybody. The Jews in New York, in LA, in Miami, in Chicago, in Pittsburgh, in Atlanta, in Indianapolis, in Houston, in Dallas, in San Antonio, in Seattle. There's more communities, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just naming the ones off the top of my head that I know. In Phoenix, Arizona. Okay? Come into a city near you. Come into a theater of operations near you, ladies and gentlemen. As I said before to my friend in a WhatsApp, I said, luckily, most of the people in what's called flyover country, the people with the guns, most of them, Baruch Hashem, are pro-Israel, Jewish, they love the Jewish people and they love Israel. But some of them, there's a subsect of them, which are in fact called the alt-right people. And unfortunately, some of them voted for Trump. I mean, listen, I support Trump, but let's be honest, some of them did vote for Trump, right? And he's not going to take their votes and throw them in the garbage. And some of those people have guns, right? There are left-wing people that have guns, there are right-wing people that have guns. And they don't like the Jewish people very much, ladies and gentlemen. And to this day, I still don't know what you guys are doing. You guys, it's incredible to me. You guys are sitting around and you're begging for apologies, and you're calling people Tzionim, and you're calling people this, and you're like, oh, we can't make aliyah. Why are you pushing aliyah? Why this? Why that? Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, like, I really don't understand. I really, really just don't. There's something. Maybe there's a nuance I'm missing here. Maybe there's something my brain is not computing, but I literally want to take you guys. I want to shake you. Like I literally would. I said this before. If I could reach through the screen and grab you by the lapel, I would shake you awake. You know, and I don't really know what it's gonna take. I really hope something doesn't happen after this. I really hope that something doesn't happen. I mean, it's already happening in New York with the Crown Heights and the Williamsburg and Jersey City and Muncie, and it doesn't end. It doesn't end. And Hyken, as much as I respect him, he's asking for apologies. He's asking for people, the cops to defend us and the mayor to defend us and the governor to defend us. What are you talking about, man? Go grab a book, Jewish history book, any Jewish history book, Beryl Wine's Jewish history book, Rabbi Beryl Wine, any book. When have people ever defended us? All we have is ourselves and Hashem and our guns. That's it. It doesn't get any more complicated than that and straightforward than that, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to sound like you want to say extremist, whatever. I don't care. Again, if this guy meant well or he meant what he meant, I don't know what he meant. There's something in the guy's subconscious that even got him to type out Jews, not Hasidic Jews or Hasidic community or community in Williamsburg, but just Jews, meaning all Jews, everybody. Like everybody. The half Jews, the full Jews, the three-quarters Jews, the quarter Jews, halakhic Jews, non-halakhic Jews, everybody. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, again, wake up. Boker Tov. Okay? We just had Yom Ha'atzmaut. Party's over, ladies and gentlemen. You see, it's dark outside. Party's over. And I'm talking to you harshly, but you need it. Because, I don't know. I don't see anybody else doing this. I mean, there's a couple of people that I know that are talking to people and trying to wake them up. But it just seems it's really falling on deaf ears. It's really, really falling on deaf ears. And I I'm not even starting with what I think is going to happen and what some of my friends are telling me who are in New York, what's going to happen after this coronavirus thing is over, which is probably going to harken back to something akin to what happened in the years, 1365, after the plague. And we all know what happened with the Jewish people at that time, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, listen, we just had Yom Ha'atzmaut. We celebrated 72 years. I mean, it's been more that we've been here, but more time, but officially having a state. Listen, we have everything here. It's not easy. It isn't easy. Certain things in society, I can enumerate them for you. I'm not going to now in this video, but I can. I'll enumerate them in another video. But at the end of the day, it's our country. It's our country. It has its problems. But you know what? We have an army. We have a Shem. And that's really it. Instead of sitting in our ghettos in New York and other places, begging and pleading a mayor or a governor to help us, and then what does he do? He goes and tweets what he tweeted. Okay, what else do you... Ladies and gentlemen, you want a tiger to change his stripes. It's embedded in natural law. It will be that way until the era of Mashiach, which we're in now. Until he arrives, that's the way it's going to be, ladies and gentlemen. Just understand that. And if you can't internalize that, I can't help you. I can't help you. I might as well be speaking Mandarin. All right. Talk to you guys soon.